Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so opening night is tonight. Los Angeles Lakers play the Golden State Warriors at Chase Center. It is ring night, banner night. Usually, banner night gets spoiled. In my history and what I've seen more banner night games lost than won, especially for my team. I don't think we've won 3 banner nights in my lifetime. We lose them all. So yeah, hopefully we can serve that to the Golden State Warriors for a change. I don't remember the last time we served another team on their banner night. I don't remember that being the case. In fact, I don't think they've scheduled us against the champs very much in the history of the sport, or in the history of my watching the game anyway. But nevertheless, that is what we got going on. We're going to be up there to watch them hoist their trophy and banner or whatever that entire ceremony will be. No salt here. I don't hate the Golden State Warriors. I was rooting for them to win that particular series, obviously, since they beat the Boston Celtics. So given the fact they beat the Boston Celtics, I have no problem watching them hoist that trophy. That banner is well deserved, and I'm glad they got it, pretty much. So, but with that being said, it's a brand new season, and nobody's rooting for them anymore. We are after what it is that we're trying to put together, which is a good team, which is not what we have right now. What we have is a bunch of pieces that would otherwise be a good team if we shuffle them around a little bit more than we're able to right now. And that's the problem. We got a starting lineup that is in flux, I guess you can say. We don't really know who's going to be in the starting lineup. And I don't think that's to be looked at as something wrong with the coach or as if he's behind schedule in any way. Nah, the roster is set up so that you have certain players, certain positions on this team that don't have starters attached to it. Natural NBA starters, no, these are all bench guys at the shooting guard position. These are all bench guys at the 3 spot. So in trying to figure out who these players are going to be, you're going to have to see them on the floor. And we have not seen everybody together very much because obviously you're looking at a situation where Troy Brown has been out with the back. Anthony Davis has been out with the back. Dennis Schroeder just now came back after having an issue with his visa situation overseas. Very first game, messes up his finger. He has to have surgery on the finger. He's going to be out for about a month. So you're looking at that. Now you got Thomas Bryant. He also has a finger thing that's going to possibly hold him out tonight. And it's just kind of like you never really get a chance to see this brand new roster come together to form something that the coach can kind of put his finger on and say, this is what I'm going with. So you have that dynamic. And of course, we've talked about Russell Westbrook and the way that things have gone with him. We've tried to put him on the bench in the previous game. He came into the game, maybe played a couple snaps, and then had to go out with an injury. They ran a bunch of tests, and from what I understand, everything came back negative. So now we're just saying, nothing basically in regards to Russell Westbrook. His status for tonight should be good to go. So all the concern about him and what he was going to be doing about coming off the bench, at the end of the day, I don't know if they're going to try that tonight. I don't know if that's going to be something we do going forward. But what we need to do is find something and kind of stick with it in regards to Russell Westbrook. It can't just be us continuing to try things and us shooing those things down immediately. I think that's the mistake that you can make when you're shuffling around trying to see what works and what doesn't. You get to see something that doesn't work, but you also have to envision yourself getting better at it the more repetition you do it. So it's like, yeah, certain stuff you don't ever want to run. You don't want to put Damian Jones in positions to shoot a bunch of threes. You don't want him, you don't want Austin Reeves out there trying to play in the paint all game. Like certain things you ain't going to do because it doesn't play to your strengths. But other things you just got to try, and maybe it didn't look too good, but you got to keep at it. And Russell Westbrook playing with different units is definitely that kind of thing. So I don't know if he was faking the injury or not. I'm inclined to believe he pulled the same thing he pulled at the end of the season last year. The 82nd game of the year, he set it out with a back spasm or something of that nature. And we know damn well that he could have played in that game. He played in all the other games. He could have played in that one. So all these people are saying he's never faked an injury. I don't know if you want to call it a faked injury, but I do know he could have played in that game. I know that. So I personally looked at him when he was going out of injury and when he went into the locker room with that injury. And I truly believe that he was just walking away from the game because he was frustrated and didn't like the role he was in because it wasn't working. And we were pulling him out of the game before he got a chance to do more in that day. And my thing is, bro, you're going to be doing that every game. And eventually you're going to get used to the players you're playing with. You're going to be used to the things you're asked to do, and eventually you're going to be moved somewhere else. So you just got to work that progression straight up and down. It can't be deeper than that. You can't try it one time and it don't work, because you know what happens next. If we couldn't move you to the bench, you know where you move out. You know where you go next. You go out. That's what happens. You move out. If we can't work you in the bench, there's only one place to try you next, and that's at home. So he needs to make this work. I think he knows that, and that's why he's going to be great tonight. There won't be any back spasm tonight. So that's my whole take on it. If he is hurt, fine. I'm sorry. But as we said, they didn't find nothing. So it is what it is, man. He just got to let that work. You got to come back and try again. You know, I felt like this when I was a little kid. I hate to bring up something as a child, but that's all I know what it related to. You're a little kid in karate and they ask you to do something. You go in there and it's the first day. It's hard. It's hard, mommy. I don't want to come back. But you come back the next day, and you come back the next day, and you come back the next day, and eventually 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks in, you can't wait to get there because you've gotten better at the same things that you said you don't want to try to do. Now that since you've been at it for the last 14 days, you want to get down there because you want to show not only the people there that you've gotten better, but you want to show yourself that you can do it. And so that's what I think needs to happen with Russell and coming off the bench. Yeah, it sucked the first day, but by the end of the season, you could be the sixth man of the year if you take this slow and try again tomorrow as it pertains to that role. So I think he needs to approach it that way, and it's going to keep him in the league. This is the reality of it. There's two ways this can go for Russell. We know it. He could take the Allen Iverson route, which is, this is the final stop. This is your Denver. You might have a Detroit after this, but it's over. Right? Seriously. He could take the Iverson route, or he could try to play this like Grant Hill after the ankle injury. Incorporate himself into different situations, try it out with the Suns, try it out with the other teams, and eventually you'll find yourself being someone that teams want on their team guys that are able to get jobs every year and stay in the league long after their prime is over. Those are the two ways it can go for Russell. Now, Russell's going to have to get better at certain things, but I don't think those things aren't things he can get better at. He's a rich man. You get the experts you need to help you get better at those things, and you dedicate your time to do it. But if he's going to think about this situation as a defeated, it ain't going to work, it can't work, I must be a starter, that's all I know, that's all I can be, then you just got to retire and cap your career off, man. And don't allow yourself to be seen in that light. As simple as that. You know, get up out of here and let people remember you as at this level. That's it. Russell Westbrook struggled at the end, so did a million others. But don't let this struggle prolong because of the attitude. That's my thing. Don't let the struggles be worse than they have to be because you didn't want to take the role that was given to you. That's all I got to say about that. All right, so the Golden State Warriors, obviously the game we're playing tonight. Clearly, you know all about their free agency stuff. They've taken care of Pickett, Poole, and Wiggins. So we call them Wiggins, I don't know. Poole and Wiggins. They've taken care of both of them. And now Draymond Green, of course, is somebody who's looking at the situation, wondering if there's anything left for him. You know what I mean? And of course, we know about the situation with the punch and the scandal of the whole nine with the footage. So this is their opening game night. You know, this is their opening night. They got the championship banner going up and all of that. And I think it's going to be an emotional evening. And I think we can catch them off guard. I do. I think we can catch them off guard. I think that team's probably very emotional. I think they're probably going to have all kinds of different feelings going on in regards to not only what it is they're celebrating, but what it is that they're going through. Maybe it brings them together some magical way and they blow us out, but I doubt it. I doubt it. Steph Curry is there. Klay Thompson's there. Wiggins is there. Kuminga's there, who's been playing much better as of late. Moody, Wiseman, they got them all. PB&J, they got them all. And we're talking about Patrick Baldwin, even though I don't know if he's going to get a lot of minutes early on. As he develops, it's going to be undeniable. They got to put him on the floor. And that's going to be undeniable. He's just going to be one of their better shooters, and amazingly enough, he's a great shooter. And, you got all these different Splash Brothers, you got your Pool, all the different water, but it's they got that peanut butter and jelly too. It's something that, it's something in there that can give you that meat and potato, so to speak. It's that PB&J to go along with the Splash. So at this point, the Lakers, the most important thing we got to understand about going against this team, even early in the season, later in the season, wherever, if you're not guarding the perimeter, you don't have a shot. I think that's more than obvious with the Golden State Warriors. However, If they go by the playoff business model and the way they worked, the Golden State Warriors, what we figured out and what we came to understand as we watched as much of them as we did, was that they get their money rebounding the ball and defending. The three-point shot last year was just icing on the cake. It was what it is that you knew you had to respect because of who they are. But it wasn't how they won a championship. It wasn't. They won a championship because they were able to dog teams with Wiggins and Looney and Draymond, that defensive presence, and of course GP too. They were dogging you on the defensive side, and on the offensive side, they had the offensive players obviously stretch the floor to make it easy for them. Poole, Steph obviously leading the way. So this year, of course, they got different pieces in place, new everything, more young players to incorporate with different strengths and weaknesses. Obviously, now you got that 7-footer down there in Wiseman and the hyper athletic power forward in Kuminga. So there are different things that they're going to be using much more to further define what it is that their play style will be this year. That's who they were last year. This year, we'll figure it out. We'll find out. But if they try to carry over the same stuff, rebounding the ball is going to be important, and turnovers is going to be extremely important. They forced turnovers like crazy last year. Obviously, they played in the NBA Finals. What I came to understand is that they forced the most turnovers in any NBA Finals in NBA history. Yeah, the thieviest thieves in the history of NBA champions were these Golden State Warriors against those Boston Celtics. So we need to be very careful not to turn the ball over 20 times, 22 times, like we've been prone to do in these preseason. We are a heavily turnover type of team. Man, I don't know if I can expect us to change our ways in the preseason, in the regular season or not. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of stuff we saw in the preseason, we don't know if the coach is going to try those things going forward, or if he's going to get away from certain things that we saw did not work. We will know when we see it. That's kind of the dynamic of the situation. Obviously, we're looking at players like Austin Reeves tonight. Hopefully, he can have a big night. His 3-ball seems like it's been falling a little better than it did in his rookie season. So hopefully, he can make a nice jump in that way. That is going to be very important for his game, overall game, creating for others and different things that he likes to do. I'm also paying attention to Lonnie Walker, the fourth. He's been very, very active when given minutes. We haven't seen him in a couple games, but last time we saw him running around for us, he was very, very active offensively, scoring, getting really, really nice athletic type of plays going for us at the rim. So I'm going to be seeing this, if we can kind of incorporate him into what it is that we're doing tonight and see if we can have some success there. Kendrick Nunn as well. Designated scorers. That's what those guys are. Designated scorers. You want them to come in and Malik Monk the situation. Just look to be offensively efficient is what I would say for those guys. It's going to be tough trying to figure out what to do with the big situation, because now AD is probably going to have to play more center than he intended to, just off of the sheer nature that Thomas is not down there and we waived Huff. So I hate to break it to Laker fans, but we will, by sheer nature, probably see some variation of small ball. Now, the good thing is, small ball this year ain't the same as it was last year because of the presence of Juan Toscano-Anderson, who's now with us from the Golden State Warriors, who will be getting his ring tonight. So congratulations to our guy Juan, Oakland's own. He deserves it. Also, Wynja and Gabriel, a guy like that definitely helps in that situation. Cole Swider, these guys are better players to have in small ball lineups than what we were having last year with our non-center bunch of old guys running around selves. This is now a team that complements small ball lineups a bit better with guys who can do some of the who play bigger than their bodies are. I guess is what you could say. Juan, Wynja, they play bigger than they are. So even though they're playing the 4, even though they're playing next to AD, who's playing the 5, they're going to do the 5 stuff. They're going to help him do the 5 stuff. They're going to be involved in the scrums for loose balls and stuff like that, so that some of those tips can turn into possessions that we secure. That type of fleece. We have a lot more of that. I think we have 3 or 4 of those now. I think Troy Brown may be able to develop into that too as he comes back, hopefully. There are things that we can do to make AD's center experience a better one. And I think we have those pieces in place. So he's just going to have to buckle down and do it and we're just going to have to give him those players to help. So hopefully we can find some variation of what works and get it on the floor. Obviously, we have the Clippers also coming up in our home opener on Thursday, so we do get tomorrow off. But it's going to be a tough couple of days, man. These are not easy games that they're starting us off with. We don't know who we actually are, and we're missing pieces that would otherwise help us define it. So if we lose these games, I don't think anybody's going to be very surprised. The question is, how do you lose? We lost the last game by 47 points. And while, as we always say, some of the stuff that we see that's bad is deliberate in the preseason, we hope that none of that carries over, because we don't think a 47-point loss is acceptable in any form of basketball, professional or otherwise. You just want to put up a better effort and make your presence felt better than that. So for that to be the way that we ended our season, our preseason rather, Laker fans are not happy about that, and we definitely want to see us put up a better effort tonight. We want to see more LeBron, more AD, clearly, so that we can have a better opportunity to keep in the leads that we ultimately give up. So that's really what it was. We didn't see a whole lot of those guys in the first half of in the preseason, but when they were on the floor, they were pretty much dominant against everybody they played against. So we know those two are proven. They've already proven they can win the championship together, and we just need to keep the complementary pieces around them. And then hopefully keep them healthy, and we'll have ourselves a shot. So that's really what it's all about every night. We'll start defining and understanding the data in regards to our team, rotation, stuff like that. We will know who's getting minutes, who's not. Obviously, 37 is a weapon. I haven't mentioned him very much, but we did give Matt Ryan our final spot. I'm curious to see if he's going to be in regular rotation, given the fact that we need what it is that he does. So, yeah, I'm happy he's here. I think giving him the final spot was the only move. We didn't have anybody else on this team that could pure shoot. So that's necessary. We mentioned Cole Swire. The three hasn't necessarily been falling, but one thing that has been falling is the two. He's been shooting the mid-range jumper very well, and I have been noticing that. I don't mind him continuing to find his shot that way. If the three ain't falling, maybe the two will fall just the same. If we can get any type of perimeter honesty from the defense is a good thing. Even if it's not the three-point line, you want them worried about all that space back there so that they're not crowding the paint. So that's something I think we need to pay attention to. Obviously, when you're dealing with Wiseman, Draymond, Kuminga, and Looney, you must understand that you're dealing with length, strength, and size in the paint, rebounding capability, defensive and offensive work there. You have to understand that we're going to have to keep an eye on whoever we're running at the big spot tonight, because they're going to have tough matchups with those guys. Those are talented lottery picks, and Draymond, who we know is a Hall of Famer. So at this point, and Looney, I don't think is a lottery pick, but you get what I'm saying. NBA champion, just got paid a bunch of money, never misses games. So you got to understand that about Kevon Looney. So I have a healthy respect for the Golden State Warriors, man. Y'all know what it is. The Warriors are serious. They got another player down there that I like. I can't think of his name. It's the wrong name in my head. V starts with a V. Played for the Milwaukee Bucks. Played for the Sacramento Kings. Young guy, point guard. I'm ready to see what he can do. I think he has more talent than he's been able to show. DiVincenzo is the name. He plays for the Golden State Warriors now, and I've seen him do some very good things in the past. In a situation like this with a championship caliber team, I think he's going to make his presence felt on their bench. I think DiVincenzo is going to have a very solid year as a role player for the Golden State Warriors, and I think he's going to make somewhat of a name for himself being in that rotation, of course. So keep an eye on that guy. I think he's going to be pretty good. Yeah, that's the kind of thing you're looking at, man. The Golden State Warriors, you feel good about the young players on the Golden State Warriors finally having an opportunity to get a little more minutes, solidifying their second unit role. And that second unit is going to be one of the deadliest in all of basketball. Depending on how they rotate it, Kuminga, Looney, Wiseman, PB&J, Moody, these are all talented, all very talented players that could very easily make up a starting five on an expansion team. Very easily. And that's the point. You don't get no breaks against Golden State Warriors. I could argue they're more naturally talented this year than they were last year because of those players in those positions with more minutes. They're just naturally more talented. So You gotta know that putting the wrong second unit on the floor, not matching up with them, letting things get out of hand, all of that is going to lead to losing. There's a lot of different ways to lose this particular basketball game, so we have got to stay on our toes. And that's really what it is, man. It's really what it is. We're the underdog tonight. There's no line about that. But what we also have is LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Patrick Beverly, and a hungry group of young fellas that should be ready to fight tonight. So I don't expect no blowout, especially with our stars getting big minutes. I don't expect us to be in a position where we just look terrible against this team. This should be a dog fight. We should be ready for the physicality that it brings, and we should be ready to guard the perimeter a bit better than we did in the preseason. If we're prepared for that, I think we'll put up a good fight. But if for some reason Steph Curry starts doing that Steph Curry thing, or if Jordan Poole starts doing that Jordan Poole thing, we could have a long night, because at the end of the day, it's going to be tough to guard those guys. We have great defensive wing players that can do certain things, like Beverly, and guys that have a lot of upside like Christie who can defend. But at the end of the day, you're going up against those type of men, getting cooked is just part of the game. So, yeah, keeping our poise, keeping our emotions high, or in a space where we can control it, and ultimately matching that intensity that I expect from the Golden State Warriors. And if we sense any discontent or any disruption on their side, to pounce on that blood like a shark. That's what I say. You gotta have killer instinct tonight. If they're showing a little pensiveness, if there's a little infighting or anything that would even look that way, we need to go straight at them, take it straight down the teeth at them. So, curious to see how Russell Westbrook attacks tonight. Hopefully he has a good game with the minutes given, and just look at this as a marathon with the second unit thing, man. You got to give this. I say give it 3 weeks. It's 3 weeks, and if you can't seem to get it right then we'll consider what else needs to be done. But he's gonna have to let that sink in terms of the role, and let it saturate, let it be what it's gonna be for a little bit, and let people around him get used to him in that second unit. Don't just try it once and then cut it off. So that's what I gotta say, man. Hope everybody enjoys the game. I don't know exactly what time it starts. I'm sorry, I should have known that already. I think it's 7 o'clock, but I'm not sure. But it will be tonight in San Francisco, California. So I hope everybody enjoys that game. Of course, I'll come back to you at halftime and at the end of the game with information and all the other stuff, my reaction. And that's pretty much it. BDO 44. Thank you all for watching. Out.